Hi everyone, Frank DeMore here. What about God's curse? What I want to first of all tell you that when you go to my book and you download my book, you'll be able to read a chapter there that's God's curse. Now in that chapter I will show you time and time again where leaders of nations come against Israel, what God does to those nations. And he means business when he says, lay off of my nation Israel. And if you curse Israel, obviously you'll see here in Genesis chapter 12:3 that God is going to curse you, or he's going to curse the nation that he is, who's ever the leader of that nation. If a leader curses Israel, the nation's going to suffer. Now, moving to Joel chapter 3, verse 2, we see again, there's another warning by God. And he says, I will also gather all the nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And for those of you who are new to prophecy, this is the valley where destruction. So we know that the Lord is talking about wiping people out. So again, it says, and I will gather all the nations and will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, will plead with them for my people. Notice that, my people and for my heritage Israel. He's talking about the Jews there, very, very specific, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So anybody who scatters the Jews, anybody who parts God's land, Israel, they've fallen under this curse. They will be led to this Jehoshaphat, which is destruction. Now, he makes it very, very plain in Zechariah 12:3 when he says this, and in that day I will make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people, which it already has. All that burden themselves with it will be, now get this, be cut in pieces. Straightforward. You don't have to guess what he's saying. He says, I'm going to cut you into pieces. Though all the people of the earth be gathered against it. So in other words, at the end of time, or at the end of this government system as we presently see it, without Jesus ruling in Jerusalem right now, all of this stuff will happen. All of the nations will come against Israel, and that's what we are seeing. And God says that he is going to cut them all into pieces. This includes the United States, by the way. So what I wanted to show you is an example, another one of those examples of how we see in the news where Barack Obama has slapped Israel in the face. He's refused to help them or attack Iran. He's given Iran, along with the United Nations, over 5 years, or just about 5 years now, to keep going, building their nuclear bomb. And all that Obama has done, and all that the European Union has done, and all that the UN has done is gum. In other words, they're doing lip service. If you have no teeth and you're chewing gum. And that's all that the President of the United States has done, the EU, and also the UN. And so that's just one aspect of this curse. And again, we see it this past week where Obama, he thinks that we're going to give him more time, the sanctions will work. He's just giving more gumming. Now, another one of the slap in the face was just a few days ago, President Obama refused the offer of Prime Minister Israel to sit down with Obama to talk about peace, to get together. And, you know, obviously, this takes care of two prophecies. When they're calling for peace and safety, as I talked about in my first video today, then the sudden destruction will come. Boom, there you go. So you have a refusal to help Israel one day, and then all of a sudden, guess what happens? The next day, after Monday, the next day, we start to see attacks all over on the U.S. embassies in the Middle East. I mean, you have to understand, someday people will come to grips to understand when God says, I'm going to curse you, when you come against Israel, that's exactly what will happen, and we're seeing that take place. Now, for those of you who missed my September 11th video or my news, I put it up here again, and you'll see this is the article where the White House declined Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's request Tuesday to meet the U.S. President Obama during the UN conference in the UN at the end of the month. Now, get this. I don't have this up here, but Mohammed Ahmadinejad from Iran is going to be allowed to this UN conference in New York. The guy's a known terrorist. The guy says over and over again that I am going to wipe out Israel. Now, if Barack Obama is supposed to be this really close friend of Israel, then he wouldn't allow that man into this country. And if he did allow him into this country, he should arrest him. So again, slap in Israel's face. And when you slap Israel's face, you slap God's face. And when you do that, you slap the Lord's people, man, oh man, you fall under these curses. United States, no wonder, is in deep trouble. And deep trouble will continue to take place unless there's some new course where the United States will back Israel the way they used to back Israel and become a really good friend. Now, what I did for you, I put up a lot of the video showing you the violence that took place the day after. And now it's spreading. So I'll let you go to my prophecy site. You'll be able to click these links and shows you the result of the curse. Now, below here, when you get to my site, you'll see that there's other news about Benjamin Netanyahu and Iran. And I want to read a little bit of this because, again, this goes hand in hand with God's curse, because Benjamin Netanyahu, behind the scenes, they're not getting along. What you're seeing in the public, and you see these guys smiling, that's only a facade. What's really been going on behind the scenes is Barack Obama and the Prime Minister are under contention right now, and it's getting worse. The separation of friends is getting worse. So it says, Netanyahu, it's my duty to keep Iran nuke-free. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said today that he has a duty to prevent Iran from attaining atomic weapons even when the best of friends, and obviously the United States is no longer the best of friends. Just by their actions you can see that. When the best of friends disagree, referring to policy differences with the United States. Now, what are the policy differences? It's the protection of Israel from Iran. Now, Netanyahu's comments came after he spoke with President Barack Obama by phone for more than an hour late yesterday as the two nations spar over how to handle the Iran issue. The White House said in a statement that Obama and Netanyahu reaffirmed that they are united in their determination to prevent Iran from attaining a nuclear weapon. That is so far from the truth. Anybody who digs the news understands that that is not the case. It is a fabrication only to appease the public, to make them feel good. Netanyahu said today that he must prevent Iran from getting nuclear arms. Now we're getting into the good. We're getting into some truth here. Even when it is not easy, because leadership is tested when it keeps to its goals, even when friends disagree and even when they are best of friends. Oh yeah, we'll appear to be best of friends. Now, his remarks were released in a emailed statement from his office in Jerusalem. Now, the comments suggest that Netanyahu's conversation with Obama failed to bridge the gaps between the two governments on Iran or convince the Israeli Prime Minister that those differences are best aired privately. In other words, they don't want to show the world what's really happening. They don't want to show the world how the divide, the chasm is growing between the United States and Israel, and how the curse is dividing. The curse is coming down on America because America is banding the friendship and abandoning watching over God's chosen people. And so America has fallen under the curse. Now, before I continue on with this, just keep in mind, anybody that messes with Jerusalem, Obama has messed with Jerusalem. He wants to give it back to the PLO. Anybody who wants to divide the land, Obama is trying to divide the land. He wants to give the PLO their own nation. And so you're definitely under the curse. Israel's leaders have reportedly said that Iran's atomic program is for military purposes and presents an get this, please, existential threat to the Jewish state. Obama, he's, again, gumming where Netanyahu knows. He's the leader of the nation. He knows what Ahmadinejad wants. He wants to destroy him. Now, the United States says sanctions against Iran, here we go again, are having an impact, and that there are more talks of international pressure are needed. You're going to talk, President Obama, you're going to gum and keep gumming Iran until they take that nuclear weapon and either use it on Israel or they use it here in the United States. And if you're not willing to back up your best of friends, as according to this article it wants us to perceive that they are, where they're really not anymore, then you should be able to do something, and you better do it quick, because Ahmadinejad believes that he is been chosen. He's been chosen to cause chaos in the Middle East, and that chaos is a major war against Israel, to bring out the hidden Ayman, which Ahmadinejad believes that when he comes, he's going to destroy Israel. So all in all, we have all of these different issues, all of these different news events pointing not only to the curse and war, but they're definitely pointing that the time for witnessing is running out, and the Lord will be coming back soon. How do we know that? Because the Lord showed us in Matthew 24:7. He said, when you shall see all of these things, know that it's near, even at the door. Now, if you don't believe in God's curse, take up the challenge. Download my book today for free. Click this link, the newest edition, September 12th. Go to the chapter on the curse and look at the evidence about nations and people who curse Israel. And I think you'll be blown away by what you see. Today is a good day, by the way, to give your life over to Jesus Christ. Thanks.